Good afternoon. Dear friends, family, faculty, and of course the platform party behind me, it is my absolute honor as your valedictorian to commence this graduation. From the finest school in Toronto, and of course on behalf of 101 of the finest students I've ever known. Lately, I've been thinking about what happens the day after those big moments. The moments that we all spend so long chasing. Not the event itself, not the applause, the pictures, the performance, but that quiet, strange day that follows. The day after you hit submit on your last university application. The day after our last Friday night lights. And the day after we get an acceptance letter from our university. We expect euphoria when we often get is silence. And that silence is not failure, it's the moment the world asks you a harder question. Now that you've done it, what will you do with it? And that is what this speech is about today. Not just how we got here, but what the moment demands of us next. Today, of course, we're celebrating our graduation, but it's something more. It's a moment to ask ourselves, what are we going to do in the future? So instead of an applause and a reflection, I'm going to offer 3 provocations, 3 simple ideas that this speech will base on with 3 simple stories. That's it, no big deal. The first one begins with the illusion of arrival. The second is the importance of purpose. And of course, last but not least, is the act of falling forward. Let's begin with the first. We're all guilty of chasing that one moment that we all thought would make us feel so complete. That very offer, that very win, this very stage. You get that acceptance email, you screenshot it, you send it to your group chat, and for maybe about 30 seconds, the world feels perfect. Then almost without warning, in a snap of a second, that moment passes, and you're left with a strange emptiness. Not sadness, just a quiet realization that that event did not change you. Because that milestone was never meant to complete you, it was meant to move you forward. A few weeks ago, I saw a very interesting video of grade 12s walking past their grade 3 younger classmates on their graduation day. They call this the senior walk. But in this video, I realized that the seniors had barely realized the magnitude of this event, but the grade 3s, their eyes were full of optimism. I realized in that video that I was watching my past, but they were watching their future. And it brings me back to our days in grade 3. Think about it, all we wanted to do was be here, to wear that blue blazer and to walk these halls like grads. We thought just to get onto grade 12, then it was just to get onto university, then it's of course just to get onto the next thing. We could almost touch the finish line each and every single time, but it keeps pulling away farther and farther. And that's what I call the illusion of arrival. In essence, we spend so much time chasing what is going to be next, not realizing that someone on this very stage or from different parts of the world is dreaming of the moment that we are already in. So here's the truth. This ceremony, our ties, the clapping, the speeches, in my opinion, is not proof that we've made it over these years. It's our permission to begin again with better knowledge and, of course, better questions. This brings me to my second provocation. The importance of purpose. Believe it or not, most of us here are 18 or turning 18 this year, which means we're officially adults. Old enough to vote, unfortunately old enough to pay taxes, and finally explain to our parents while we're still thinking about moving out. But in all seriousness, the questions are changing. It's no longer that lingering question, what do you want to be? There's a crucial importance on that why. Why that path? Why now? And of course, as we're all familiar, why you? I once heard a speech by Admiral William McRaven. He said that if each of us change just a few lives, and that ripple continues, that impact becomes massive. So why don't we test that in our Crescent perspective? The average person, believe it or not, can meet over 80,000 people in their whole lifetime. If each of us, all 101, only positively impacts 100 people in our lifetime, and each of them does the same across 3 generations. This graduating class could shape over 100 million lives. I'll repeat that one more time. Through just positively impacting 100 people, each of us, in the short amount of 60 years, we could help over 100 million lives. I don't mean that to sound poetic, I mean that as our destiny. And the best part is, purpose does not need a stage just like this. As shown, it's just a choice that's repeated again and again and again. And of course, Crescent gave us more than lessons. It gave us a starting point where it taught us that purpose shows up in service, brotherhood, and in the little ways that we showed up for each other. Our prefect motto said it best: embrace your values to find your purpose. Because yes, of course, purpose is not instant. It may take years, maybe a lifetime to find out our purpose, but it is inevitable if you lead with what matters. On this graduation day, I thought of a sentence that I like to say. Tomorrow is the first day of the rest of our lives, and how you live it starts with your why. But here's the truth. We didn't get our why on our own. As much as today is a celebration for us, it's also a tribute to the people who helped us get here, step by step, mistake by mistake, and moment by moment. The late nights, early mornings, sacrifices that we never fully understood, but today they deserve it. If you are able, to the parents, can you please stand? Please, don't be shy, please stand. To the teachers, can you please stand? Graduates, can you please give a round of applause to our heroes? Thank you, everyone. For my third and final provocation, I would like to share a quote. Something my father has told me on each of my birthdays, and it finally hit me on my 18th birthday. It reads, if you're going to fall, fall forward. At that time, I didn't get it, because for most of our lives, we've been told, be careful, have a backup plan, and of course, make sure you have something to fall back on. But now in this graduation, I realize that the importance of my father's quote, because if I fall, I do not want to fall back on anything. I want to fall forward because at least this way I see what I'm going to hit. And history is full of people who fell forward. Albert Einstein didn't speak up until he was 4. Teachers said he would never amount to anything. Fall forward. Michael Jordan missed over 9,000 shots, lost nearly 300 games. Fall forward. Michael Phelps had a medal at his first Olympics and went on to win 23 golds. Fall forward. Howard Schultz was rejected by over 200 investors before someone finally said yes to the idea of Starbucks. Fall forward. The truth is, falling backwards is much, much easier. It's what we're used to. We fall back into comfort, we fall back into our doubt, and we go back into silence when the whole world is urging us to just speak up. But here's the danger. Falling backwards feels safer, but it's the slowest way to disappear. You shrink your dreams, you avoid the risk, and of course you play it small. And worst of all, you start to believe that's who you are. So no, don't ever, ever fall backwards. As I close, I thought, as much as today is a bittersweet celebration, I want to return to something from my childhood. The Lorax movie, inspired by Dr. Seuss. In this scene, the Lorax did something quite influential that I assume many of us have probably overlooked or forgotten. He says, which way does a tree fall? And then he continues to say, a tree falls the way it leans. Be careful which way you lean. And this year, I'm proud to say that we truly leaned into each other. Prom, of course, wasn't just about our tux, our suits, our dates, or tie. It wasn't about the lights or the playlist. It was about that moment when the music had paused for just 2 minutes. And our grads went in the middle of the dance floor, shoulder to shoulder, arm over arm, no phones, just 100 voices singing proudly the school song like it was the last thing holding us together. And maybe it was. That night we didn't lean away. I believe we leaned in. We leaned into that brotherhood, and we of course leaned into that moment. And we leaned into something bigger than ourselves. My last thought, I want to leave you with one specific memory that I will cherish as I age. As many of the parents remember, We were shipped off to Camp Wanakita for our grad retreat in April. We were far from Crescent, out in the woods, and I remember our final night together at that camp. No phones, no noise, just us. That evening we circled around the fire, not for a speech, not for a lesson, just to sit all of us, students and teachers, shoulder to shoulder in quiet. One by one, we saw the teachers begin to open up, not about school or grades, but about their life, their regrets, their failures, their fears. They spoke up not as instructors, but as people. And for the first time, we didn't just see them as mentors, we saw them as people who had walked these halls years before we have, and people who have believed in us in the halls we're going to walk in the future. That night, Mr. Hunter asked us to write a letter to our future selves, which he would keep in his possession for the moments we felt lost and for the times we need to remember who we truly were. Those letters could offer strength, clarity, and just a reminder of where it all began. In the process of the speech, I asked Mr. Hunter to bring mine back so I could open it up, because I needed to remember who I was before I enter a world that's going to tell me who I should be. I kept mine sealed until the last part of the speech, and I'd open it up again to complete it. And here's how my first lines read. Don't forget where you came from. This school, these people, they shaped you. Family should always come first, even when it costs you something. And sometimes the people who feel like family aren't the ones you were born with. They're the ones who showed up when it mattered. That's what I want to leave you with. Not just a memory, but a promise that even when this world gets louder and crazier and the road ahead gets harder, we'll remember who we are, where we started, and no matter what comes next, we fall forward together. I've been with many of the boys for almost 8 years of my lifetime. I truly can't believe that this may be the last time that all of us will be under one single roof. From the bottom of my heart, I wish each and every one of you grads nothing but success, and I hope we all will stay in touch. Thank you everyone for this opportunity, and congrats to the class of 2025.